WNBA tried to capitalize on her popularity and crammed a lot of games in over a short amount of time, playing against the best teams in the W.
Caitlin Clark just turned a $76,000 salary into the biggest punchline in women's basketball. And with one comment, she exposed a truth the league has been dodging for years. What she said about season tickets didn't just spark a conversation, it blew the doors off the whole system. Think about this, the WNBA is celebrating record-breaking viewership and a $200 million TV contract. The Indiana Fever are sold out top to bottom. Every season ticket gone. Clark, jerseys up nearly 200%. Concessions exploding. Merchandise flying out of arenas. The team is literally swimming in new money. Yet the woman responsible for this tidal wave of revenue is making $76,000. Yes, $76,000, less than what multiple NBA assistant coaches bring home. Let that sink in. And then came the moment that left everyone stunned. Right after torching Seattle with one of her best games yet, Lexi Hull joked about buying season tickets for her family. Caitlin jumped in, completely honest, zero filter. Those are pretty expensive, that's like our whole salary. The room froze, the cameras caught the awkward chuckles. Because she said what no one else in that locker room had the courage to say out loud. The Fever's entire payroll? $1.2 million. One NBA rookie, just one, makes more than their entire team. Now look at the ratings, it's not even close. This season, 16 of the 18 WNBA games that hit over 1 million viewers had one thing in common. Caitlin Clark was on the floor. Fever versus Storm, 2.2 million viewers. Liberty vs. Aces, Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart headlining still couldn't crack 600,000. Caitlin doesn't move the needle. She is the needle. Corporate partnerships in Indiana up 225%. Fans drank over 2,800 gallons of craft beer at Fever games alone. The entire franchise is printing cash at a historic pace. And Caitlin's reward? A 4-year deal worth $338,000. Her rookie salary? $76,535. Now let's talk about respect, or the lack of it. Against Seattle, after missing a shot, Clark punched the basket stanchion out of frustration. Technical foul. The referee actually told her it was disrespectful to the game. The same game that's been disrespecting her paycheck since the moment she arrived. But she handled it perfectly. She owned the emotion, said it came from competitiveness, and thanked the ref for the tech because it fired her up. That's superstar mentality. That's someone who's already bigger than the league she plays in. And while all this chaos surrounds her, she's rewriting the record books. Already over 230 assists, obliterating the previous rookie record. On pace to break Alyssa Thomas's all-time single-season assist mark. 12 games left, and she's already making history look routine. But the disrespect didn't end there. Then came the Olympic snub. Team USA left the most influential player in women's basketball at home. The WNBA squeezed. The schedule to milk her star power, threw the Fever into brutal back-to-back matchups, and still expected her to carry the league. She took a short reset, came back blazing hot, won AP Player of the Week, and dragged Indiana back into relevance. And through all of that, people still want to toss her into comparison. Wars with Angel Reese. Angel Reese is having a fantastic rookie season, no question. But comparing her to Caitlin, Clark right now is like comparing a spark to a wildfire. Clark is already performing like a top 5 player in the league, not opinion data. When you start being mentioned alongside Candace Parker and Maya Moore in all-time rookie conversations, you're no longer just hyped, you're generational. Yet critics keep reaching. She's just a college hype machine. The media pushes her. She gets special treatment. Special treatment? She's making $76K while creating millions. She's taking the hardest hits in the league. Seattle bench starters just to stop her from getting a triple-double. If that's special treatment, I'd hate to see what they think punishment looks like. 3 straight games with 20+ points and 10+ assists, Caitlin Clark was on the brink of a historic run. And instead of letting greatness unfold, Seattle pulled their starters just to keep her from making history. Then Skylar Diggins-Smith decided to race up the court during a dead fring ball just to bump into her. Petty, jealous, unprovoked, and yes, the whole world saw it. It's time to say the quiet part out loud. There's a portion of WNBA players who seem more committed to dragging Caitlyn down than elevating their own game. The bitterness is loud, the jealousy is obvious, and it's doing nothing but exposing how threatened some of them feel. But here's what they're missing. When one star rises, everyone rises. Caitlyn isn't taking anything away from the league. She's handing it opportunities on a silver platter. Remember when she talked about flying commercial? WNBA players squeezed into economy seats, stuck dealing with delays, hauling their own bags across airports. She didn't have to mention it. She's got a Nike deal, massive endorsements, and financial security most players dream about. But she spoke up anyway. And what happened next? The league implemented charter flights not because of some long-term initiative, but because Caitlyn Clark shined a spotlight on the problem before she ever played her first regular season game. She came into the league advocating for the veterans who were grinding long before she arrived. That's leadership. That's what using your influence for good actually looks like. Yet, some players still treat her like she's the villain. Truthfully, they should be thanking her every single day. Here's the part nobody dares discuss. The new WNBA TV deal is worth around $200 million, potentially climbing to $260 million per. That's massive. But players won't see the benefit of that anytime soon because the CBA signed in 2020 locks salaries in place until 2027. So even though demand, interest, and revenue are exploding at record speed, player salaries are stuck in 2020. And who's fueling this surge? Caitlyn Clark. She's expanding the ceiling of women's basketball, forcing long overdue conversations about pay, travel conditions, working environments, and respect. Most WNBA players don't have duck endorsements. Many live off a base salary of around $76,000 in cities where rent alone eats half of that. This isn't luxury, it's survival. Caitlyn, meanwhile, is earning millions from sponsorships, but even she openly says the pay. Structure makes no sense. When the face of the sport is calling out the system, that tells you everything you need to know. Now, about the Rookie of the Year debate, there is no debate. Caitlyn Clark is winning it, and it's not close. Angel Reese has been terrific, a double-double machine, an elite rebounder, an energy player who impacts every game she's in. But this isn't about who's good, this is about who's rewriting what's possible. And right now, only one rookie is shattering records, carrying her team toward playoff contention and pushing league viewership into the stratosphere. The real argument isn't Rookie of the Year, it's whether Caitlyn is having the greatest rookie season in league history. Let's compare. Candace Parker won MVP as a rookie legendary, but she wasn't competing in a league loaded with stars like A'ja Wilson. Caitlyn might finish as MVP runner-up in what many consider an all-time great regular season. Maya Moore won a championship in year one, phenomenal, but she joined a stacked Minnesota roster. Caitlyn is dragging the Fever back into relevance almost by herself. This isn't a three-player race. This is Caitlyn Clark in her own tier, with A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart battling for the next spots. And for those insisting A'ja is clearly superior, let's be real. A'ja is unbelievable, MVP level, dominant, but the gap between her and Clark isn't as wide as critics want to believe. Earlier this season, when the Aces were sitting at 6-6, A'ja's scoring wasn't translating into consistent wins the same way Caitlyn's playmaking did for Indiana. A'ja is still the top player overall, but the margin is tighter than the narrative suggests. As for Breanna Stewart, she's in the middle of a slump. If she was playing at her peak level, this entire MVP conversation would look very different. Right now, Caitlyn Clark is blowing past every expectation and redefining what a rookie is even supposed to look like. Let's be honest, the WNBA has the buzz, the ratings, the packed arenas, and a once-in-a-generation superstar at the center of it all. So, when are these women finally going to get paid what they deserve? Caitlyn probably won't win MVP simply because she missed some early games technicality. But everyone knows who's been the most valuable player to the league this season. The Fever are the only team with multiple Player of the Week winners, and that's not luck. That's culture. That's Caitlyn Clark elevating everyone around her. When Lexi Hull dropped a career-high 22, Caitlyn was the loudest voice hyping her up. She even joked her entire feed was turning into a Lexi Hull fan account. That's leadership wrapped in humility. Caitlyn could easily hog the spotlight, but she keeps redirecting praise to the women around her. Same with Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell has been scorching hot all season, and when reporters asked Caitlyn about Kelsey's clutch fourth quarters, she didn't hesitate. She steps up in big moments. She's been doing that all year. I'm really happy for her. That's the heart of a true playing franchise player. Remember earlier in the season when the Fever seemed unsure about Mitchell's future? That whole contract limbo? Suddenly, she's retained because there's no world where Indiana lets tension go of someone playing this well and meshing so perfectly with Clark. But let's get into the moment everyone is still talking about. Caitlyn gets the crowd roaring, the building is shaking, and out of nowhere during a dead ball, Skylar Diggins-Smith speeds up and makes shoulder-to-shoulder contact with her. For what? To send a message? Out of frustration? Out of envy? Stop it. People love to say Caitlyn's too skinny, too weak, can't hang. Yet she leads the league in assists and roasts defenses nightly. She is cooking. Let the chef work. The truth is, too many players are so focused on trying to knock Caitlyn down that they're missing the biggest point of all. She is the reason your salary might finally rise. She's the reason charter flights were approved. She's the reason corporate sponsors are lining up at the WNBA's door. If I'm Caitlyn, I'm telling Skylar, 1, grab your coat, grab your bag, and step aside. Because while you're busy being petty, I'm busy changing the entire sport. The jealousy is loud. The pettiness is louder. But Caitlyn stays locked in, slicing through. Defenses, dropping dimes, breaking records, hurting teams on both ends like a double-edged blade. She's elevating her own career and elevating the entire league at the same time. Players should be welcoming her with open arms, including Angel Reese and the other rookies, who are also having incredible seasons. Caitlyn and Angel get the most headlines, and that's a good thing. They're bringing in new fans, new conversations, and new excitement that lifts everybody. The real problem isn't the rivalry, it's the league failing to capitalize correctly. They landed a $200 million TV deal. Viewership is exploding. Interest is at a historic peak. And yet, the conversations we're still having are about pay gaps and travel conditions. Stephen A. Smith said it better than anyone. A rising tide lifts all ships. Go at Caitlyn Clark with all your competitive fire, but while you're at it, appreciate the fact that she's transforming your entire work environment. She went into a press conference and spoke openly about flying commercial. Suddenly, the league made travel upgrades, changes that players have begged for over a decade. Some people complained, why did it take Caitlyn saying something? It doesn't matter. She did. She didn't have to, but she did. She already had her endorsements, her security, her future locked in. Yet before she played even one regular season game, she used her voice to address the struggles every WNBA player has faced for years. That's influence. That's impact. That's legacy. And the numbers prove it. Liberty versus Mercury pulled in 1.21 million viewers. Liberty versus Aces, a matchup featuring Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart, barely cleared. 577,000 on a different network. One player is driving the conversation, driving the growth, and driving the league into its next era. And her name is Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark isn't just boosting viewership, she's multiplying it. Doubled, tripled, quadrupled. She's the reason casual fans are suddenly glued to WNBA broadcasts. She's the force dragging the league into mainstream relevance. And the craziest part? She's doing all of this while being underpaid, underprotected, and underappreciated. She's getting slammed on drives, knocked during dead balls, and slapped with technicals for state or showing the same fire that male stars get praised for. Imagine the NBA cracking down on LeBron or Steph for having emotions as rookies. The world would explode. But because it's the WNBA, some people expect Caitlyn to sit there, smile, and be thankful. Thankful for what, exactly? A $76K salary while she pulls in millions for the league? Cramped commercial flights while the league cashes TV checks? Getting left off the Olympic roster while she's the biggest ratings magnet women's basketball has ever seen? No. Caitlyn Clark deserves better, and so does every woman in that locker room. This conversation is bigger than basketball. It's about basic respect. It's about fair compensation. It's about acknowledging the value women bring to the sport and paying them accordingly. Right now, the WNBA is standing at a fork in the road. They can build something powerful and lasting, or they can keep ignoring the obvious and blow the biggest opportunity in their history. Because Caitlin Clark already held up her end. She delivered the fans. She delivered the buzz. She delivered the revenue. And now it's the league's turn to respond. If they don't, someone else will. Other leagues, other organizations, other countries, they would welcome her and the players with open arms and real checks. And if that day comes, the WNBA will look back and realize they had something electric, something rare, something once in a lifetime, and let it slip right through their fingers. Caitlin Clark just shifted women's basketball forever. Not by winning a title, not by securing MVP, but by forcing the most important conversation the sport has ever seen. And whether the league is ready or not, there's no going back now.